Snoblin, Chiefs Picosta, and Rick. And if you could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, my apologies for not making last meeting. I was in Oklahoma. Consideration of minutes of the regular meeting of the Rockland Fire Protection District Board of Trustees for April 13th, 2026. I skimmed the minutes. Looked like we had a exciting meeting. A lot of stuff going on. I just noticed a minor correction, minor typo. Night Fists should be Night Fists, but
I pen and ink corrected it.
that's all I know. So everything else was good for me, but again, I was not here.
The only other thing I noticed is, do we have to mention, since Marson was gone, do we have a,
President Pro Tem.
yeah, President Pro Tem?
Yeah, I don't think it's worth,
Okay.
Amending.
yeah.
No, I
Wasn't sure if we needed it or not.
Yeah, no, I wasn't here. I should all right. Can I get a motion?
I will motion to accept the meeting minutes as tendered with one pen and ink change, which I have initialed this day.
I will second that.
All right. Voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'll go ahead and approve them too. All right. Moving on to Chief's report. Who'd like to go first?
I'll go first, that's fine. Shared the monthly for the Libertyville, or from Libertyville, I should say, last week, so hopefully you had a chance to review it. Had 8 total calls for the month of April. Nothing remarkable really, the times were good.
Yeah.
And if you don't have any questions about the monthly, today we started our demolition to the back of the house remodel project at Station 1. It's amazing how quickly and how much fun the demolition crew has. Yeah, we're using Hescore, which is an arm of Hesner Architect. They're our general, and they did our Station 2, and they were very clean, and that's what we really liked about it. It's amazing how clean their construction jobs are. So we were able to do the same thing at Station 1, so we're looking forward to that. That should take about 3 months or so. So if you do come around Station 1, just be careful driving around back, except for their station, all their equipment, and a couple boxes out there, so be careful there. And then today also we started interviewing for the position of firefighter. So our commission has 4 dates secured for, I think we have 35 candidates.
How many positions do you have?
Well, we'll have, in the next 2 years, we'll probably have 4 retirements. So it's a good list to be on. So at least 4, potentially 5.
So you're trying to overhire and get ahead of it?
No. We were able to push a promotion to do that. But as far as hiring a blue shirt, we're just going to wait. But the list should be established by the time we have to hire. That'll be the end of May. Lieutenant Bartholomew is retiring at the end of May, and then one of our assistant chiefs is retiring in July. So we should have a good list.
It should work.
Yeah.
It'll still work.
Yeah. So, and then just preparing for the festivals this summer in the village. It's always a good time in both village, Lake Forest, and Libertyville. So that's about it for the department.
Cool. Thank you.
I was gonna bring up all of our village stuff too, just looking at 4th of July, and everybody's kind of overdoing all of the excitement and planning, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lake Forest has a couple of days, starting 2nd, evenings of things, Friday. The 3rd is gonna be a whole bunch of stuff all day, obviously the 4th is fireworks, the 5th is a ice cream social down at the beach, so I think there's just a lot of things that everyone's gonna be pushing out. You'll have your pick of all the communities around us of what you wanna do on any given day. And then I know we also are ramping up all the concert series that go throughout town too, so my guess is a lot of your residents in some capacity usually travel our direction to do, you know, it's like a lot for us that, you know, they all alternate what night they've got whatever going on with a concert. concert or some sort of a, outdoor shut down the road, block party kind of thing, so it's kind of fun. Obviously, it makes it a little more exciting for us, get our people outside, we'll go do the sticker handout and maybe get some food while they're out there, so please say hello at any point if you're out there and you see them. As far as our call volume goes, again, typical month, all medical related, basically nothing as far as, any significant calls or fires or anything you guys have had. It's been pretty standard. The one outlier call that I did just see from a timing standpoint was our backup ambulance responding. So that one obviously just takes a little bit more time. It's crews moving over, just takes them a little bit longer to get there. But luckily that's the one I saw that was outside typicals and had at least a backup vehicle going. So otherwise, kind of tracking again like normal. So if we had 21 this month, fourth month we're at a total of 83. We're almost like dead nuts to where every single month is kind of marched out. So yeah, it's been pretty good. But, on our hiring front, we do have a few new people. I'll just mention we have a guy that just started today. We have another one starting next Monday, and we're going to offer a job as soon as we get some medical lab tests back from somebody else. So again, getting in that hire cycle where we're all trying to just fill the spots. But if you guys remember, a year, 9 months ago, we were in a lot different situation as far as like the forced back overtimes and like the stress of that. I think we're starting to get to the point where we're ready to turn the corner, which is good. It's been an onboarding process, it's been an interview process, all those things that kind of hold you up. But now that we're getting people in the door, it's a matter of getting them just into the onboarding to equate with the shifts, getting our EMS system, those kinds of things. But within a couple of weeks, we should get in a much better spot. So definitely excited about that. Some good young people that are excited, have a lot of good energy, so good influx for us. So,
Good.
awesome.
Alright. Anything for the chiefs?
I
Oh, you're
dithered, but I did get it. So, fair is fair. I was actually out of the country getting African tick bite fever apparently, which is dangerous.
Congratulations.
Yeah, not fun. But I tried to kind of just skim the top categories from theirs and go with that. I'm not really hard over about it, so I wanted to get it out to you, have you think about it, and if you want to change this around, I don't have to have this done until July, so we got a little time.
I sent you a sample report.
Did you?
I was gonna say, those are the ones you're even almost verbatim, the ones
Yeah,
that
I mean,
you're marking to,
the
right?
only thing that I
it's just
added
a-
that we didn't do last time is, the assist calls for our one nursing home, just because it's a sore spot, and if that's gonna be an issue, I wanna highlight it. And then, I think something that we haven't really called attention to, that we should, as a good news story, are the fire inspections. The inspectors are out here, they're working hard, let's recognize those inspections. Because first and foremost, I think State Fire Marshal gets a copy of it, but this is mostly, just like the reports you do for both of your departments, it's for public consumption, so I wanna kinda highlight that. But, other than that, I'm totally open, if you guys wanna change it or adjust it or whatever, I'm fine.
Sounds good.
I'll take a look at what you sent.
The one question I have is just dates, making sure, is it a May to May? What's the date range?
Yeah, I think it's May to May.
Okay.
I think it's, I'll double check that, but I believe it's May to May. I have to check the last one.
Sounds good.
And I was trying to get to that, but I believe it's May to May.
Sounds good.
I sent you calendar year, January to May, so I
That
can,
was my, I'm sure,
it's just the nearest report. It's general, there's no times, just an incident number and type of call and dates, and just let me know if that's the.
Yeah, we don't have to have the call times in there, but again, based on what we've seen the public interest is, and I really wanna call attention to the fact that call times have stabilized and gone down from where they were several years ago. And that's, again, this is a good news story, so, I think that's certainly on the rescue EMS, and the fire responses, like we have any. Those are all good news stories, so I think it wouldn't be hard to take that and average out the call times over the prior year. And that's,
So we can use the monthlies as well to do that.
Mhm.
If they have all the
exactly,
times.
exactly. So, but again, I'll take a look at the draft, and then we can go back and, make any adjustments we need to. All right, that's all I got.
Thanks, Bruce. Agenda item 5, public comment. The district trustees allocate time for those individuals who would like the opportunity to address the fire district on any matter not listed on the agenda. Each person addressing the trustees is asked to limit their comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. No public comment. Maybe it's me. Maybe when I'm here, right now. Is it me? Could be me.
Did he cut that part of the discussion out of the meeting?
All right, attorney's report to the Board of Trustees. Mr. Kelly?
Obviously, budget's coming up, Carl's got a little presentation on that. In terms of legislation, if you can believe it, this week is the first week that both the Senate and the House have been present in Springfield at the same time since the governor's budget message at the end of February. They're planning to go into session on May 31st, so they got basically 3 weeks. The air in Springfield is being sucked up by the bears, by the governor's budget, and by this new Build Illinois plan, which is the governor's proposal to do away with a lot of local zoning authority so that more houses get built. Nothing really moving in terms of fire district legislation. Now, it doesn't mean that it won't, but right now, everything, they did extend the date to have legislation into the chambers, into the House and Senate, so that means that stuff could pop up yet, but I think the budget and the Bears and this Build Illinois thing are gonna take all of their attention.
Anything for John? Okay. Agenda item 7, discussion action regarding Rockland Fire Protection District fiscal year 2027 budget.
Alrighty.
Carl?
Well, as you know, May 1st, we started our new fiscal year. So the first thing we have to do is get the budget in by, has to be done by the end of July. So, just go over the process real quickly. First thing we do is we put adopt a tentative budget. That will need to get posted on the building, and then a notice in the newspaper has to be published saying that it is there, and that we will be having a public hearing at the start of the July meeting. So that's the 2 things that have to be in that notice. And John, I have a copy of the notice ready to go. I will send you an electronic copy tomorrow. It just needs to be put in the paper. If your timing is right, you can do your preliminary budget and then do your budget hearing a month later. And I think that would work out with the calendar this year, but I may not be here at the June meeting, so I wanted to get this done now, and then we'll do the public hearing in July. So, the tentative budget, this is what we've done for the last few years. It's basically just last year's budget with the addition of the increase in the IGA, which is contractual, so we know exactly what that is. And then also an adjustment on the liability fund, because actually our premium went down just $3 this month. But other than that, it's just the same budget that we work with every year. So we start with that. But if anything comes up in the next 2 months for a project or something, then we can always add that in. But this is just kind of our boilerplate to get started. So I don't know technically if the board needs to approve, but I think it's a good idea for the board to adopt it as the working budget.
Yeah, I would recommend it as a tentative budget.
Yep. So, again, building operations, $10,000 on maintenance, $20,000 on utilities. We put actually we sort of have 2 versions of the budget. We've got $8,000 in contingency. So that will go into the budget and appropriation ordinance. We will appropriate it, but we will use a working budget that does not include that. So it's there in case we need it, so that we don't have to reopen the budget and redo it and refile it. But we will manage as though it's not there. Same thing on district administration, $20,000 for legal, $6,000 for salaries, $2,000 for education, $5,000 for office expenses, and then we throw contingency in at $12,000 that again, primarily like if something really goes wacko in the legal side, that would probably be the thing that would eat that up. Fire and rescue that we're at, we put 40% in as fire and rescue, 60% in as ambulance, because they go into different funds. So $240,370 for the 40% and $360,554 for the 60%. And then on the liability insurance is $4,000 and 12, since we've already got the bill paid that already. We've also already paid the first payment of the IGA, because it's due on May 1st. Actually, I think it's actually due like April, but we always pay it on May 1st, so that we're paying it out of this year's budget. I think everybody is fine with that. So that would be my proposed budget, if you would consider adopting it.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the tentative budget appropriation as presented by Carl, in the amount of, I'll give the amount, in the amount of $687,936 with contingencies.
I'll second that.
And roll call vote or voice vote, John?
Voice vote's fine.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Anybody opposed? Okay.
So Carl, do you want me to get it published?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll get the notice published for the July meeting, and also, should I prepare the budget ordinance, or are you gonna? prepare it?
I'll do that.
Okay,
And then we'll run it by you.
Okay. sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, I'll send you the notice tomorrow. Get you
Okay.
a copy of it.
All right. Agenda item 10, treasurer's report. Carl, still you.
Okay, balance sheet, as of April 30th, which is the end of the fiscal year. The checking account was at $741,285.98. Reserve account at $312,909.69. And petty cash remains at $81.75. Total assets of $1,054,277.42. On the budget, again, we're 12 months out of 12, so it's 100%. On the, our tax revenue came in right at 100%. As I mentioned to Marson, while we budgeted $9,000 from NIFAS, I was a little slow in getting the bills to them. I did get caught up on the billing to them just a couple of weeks ago, so we just haven't received the check yet. But that's really no consequence. That's why we're only at 98.4% rather than 100% of our total revenue. Obviously, on the IGA, we were 100%, spot on, because we knew what that would be. Building operations, about 60%, that's kind of typical. District administration, about 51%, and then on the liability, tort, 100%. So just because this is the final for the year, again, we were talking a little bit, just Martin and I were talking a bit about kind of the trend. We've been holding our levy flat. We are not increasing it. And there, you can see here, we were budgeted to have a just under $50,000 budget surplus on our revenue. Even though we've been holding our revenue flat, our expenses aren't going up a lot. So we budgeted to have a $50,000 budget surplus. We ended up with about a $66,000 budget surplus. We will see, if we continue to hold the levy flat, we will see that slowly decline. And again, as I've mentioned before, once we know for sure what's happening with this building, then we can really start to adjust, because that's kind of the unknown right now. We don't know what we're going to need in terms of any kinds of rent or whatever in terms of that. So rather than really trying to bring this to zero, we're keeping it just a little bit high, just in case we need that. But once the building's up, then I think we can really tweak this to very, very flat. So that is the treasurer's report.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
I'll second.
All right, roll call vote, trustee Mack,
Aye.
trustee Dunn, trustee Malinowski, aye. And outstanding invoices, Carl?
Okay, just a few this month. Visa card, $56.98, I'll come back to that in just a second. Comcast is $291. North Shore Gas, $4.52. Lake County Public Works Water, $32. And then the trustees compensation, $1,500 for Carl, $1,000 for Marson, $1,500 for Bruce, and $1,500 for Dan, for a total of $6,332.04. And then the Costco charge was $256 for rodent control.
PC.
Had to patch up some, when they took the washer and dryer, the industrial washer and dryer out, they just cut the vent pipe off, and it's a 6-inch vent pipe, and it went out. Now, there was a little screen over the vent, but apparently that screen got knocked out, so we had road and highway. So I had to cap that, put new screens in, and left them a little appetizer
Yeah.
dish.
Yeah, appreciate that, Carl, thank you for handling that. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the outstanding invoices in the amount of $6,333.04.
I'll second that.
All right, and roll call vote, trustee Dunn,
Aye.
trustee Mack,
Aye.
trustee Malinowski, aye. All right, thanks, Carl. Agenda item 10, other items as may be lawfully brought before the board, discussion only. I got one thing, but if anyone else has anything.
No, I got nothing.
So now that I'm back, I am gonna be reaching out to you, Carl, about getting an exterminator to clean out the generator and get that genset going. That's been on my list for a while, so we might eat into a little bit of your surplus. Sorry about that.
That's not a problem.
Okay, yeah, the only thing that I had is I was contacted via email by an interested party in law enforcement looking to use the building for training. In anticipation of having this meeting, reached out to our contact at NIPUS, Officer Watson. They have no problem sharing the building. They're really, as long as they have the apparatus bay, that's theirs as far as they're concerned, even though they kind of put the bill for the whole building. They do use some of the rooms and the floors for their own training, but they have no problem sharing it. I guess, John, for you, or it'd be a question for you, what would be required if the board would so choose to allow another law enforcement agency to use the building for training?
I think at the very least, we'd want a memorandum of understanding, setting out expectations, at their risk, those kinds of things, similar to what we have with NIPUS.
Probably a certificate of insurance.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely, that would be part of it. And if it's, if it's a single community, then we could probably do an IGA. If it's some group like NIPUS or some other training group, then it's probably an MOU is better.
Okay. Would it be appropriate to ask them for compensation or no?
That's solely,
I guess that's up to the board.
Yeah.
I'm not where like we're making any decisions here, but, we wanna add an agenda item the next month to talk about this some more. I could reach out to the contact, find out, what they're looking to do, how often, get some more details. I wanted to bring this up to the board to find out what questions you guys have. I didn't wanna.
I think that's a good question. Like, if it's gonna be, is it a one-time thing? Is it a once-a-month thing? I think that's something we need to know.
Yeah, I'd just like it all detailed, if we're gonna let people into the building.
Right.
Wanna know what, where, when, and why, and what they're
Yeah.
gonna be doing.
Yeah.
How often.
Yeah, being another governmental agency, they're not quite really people, but
Well,
That's good.
it's like how,
Yeah.
you know, how frequently, so access, are we going to give them keys or are we going to arrange?
Yeah,
Those are
I
all
think
kind of
escort, things like that.
Yeah, the logistics of it all,
Yep.
basically.
Okay.
And as far as compensation, if, you know, a one-shot deal, you know, not a big thing, but it's often that, one thing to consider too is just equal treatment. You don't want these guys thinking
Right,
they're getting screwed.
That's a really good point.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as we've learned from the training activities that NIPUS does, there is some cleanup afterwards and that sort of stuff. That doesn't always happen, depending on whether or not they have the time and the space to do that. So, yeah, those are all things that I think would need to get nailed out and put in writing,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Sure.
yeah, I totally agree.
So basically, I'll ask them those questions, see if they wanna come to a meeting, and, we can go from there. So I just wanted to bring it up to the board to see if there was anything we even wanted to pursue further. I'll reach out with
That would be a
those.
really good idea to have a rep come and talk to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
would set things off on a good footing.
Okay.
Yeah, is it? Now, this is an actual entity, not a couple officers looking for some training space?
From how it was proposed to me was that yeah, that it's an entity, it's within, the CPD. So, I'll have to find out why Scott was looking to come up this way, but, we heard through the grapevine that, hey, we have an empty building. Empty-ish.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
yeah,
We're ways outside their city limit.
right.
There's more than one or two empty buildings within inside that city limit.
Yeah.
I guess
So-
as they were probably
Huh?
networking with some of the NIPUS guys,
Could be,
Yeah,
that would
Could
make
be.
sense.
but yeah, as long as if it's the Chicago Police Department, that's one thing. If it's Officer Fred and Joe, that's.
Yeah,
Very
if
different
it's
story.
Officer Fred and Joe's security that's looking to train in, no, not quite, but yeah, if it's an actual entity.
We want to be good partners, but.
Yeah.
But if something happens, we can always go back to NIPUS, we can go back to, a department. If it's, several officers just looking for a place to train,
Right.
Yeah.
that's much more problematic.
Totally agree.
Any comments, questions, or anything from you guys as far as allowing something like this in?
No,
Okay.
I think,
Basically just
what you
have
suggest.
them handle themselves, don't call you, right?
I mean, I don't think it would change your response at all, whether the
No.
building is vacant or whatever, but to Carl's point and to your point, it'd probably be good to have a representative here just to lay down the specifics on what they're gonna be doing. That way we all have a better understanding of what potentially both departments might walk into during a training night or something like that, you know?
Okay. All right, I'll, with the board's consent, I'll reach back out to the interested parties and have those questions answered, or, at a minimum, have those questions answered, and hopefully get them at, the next meeting, so we can have a discussion. I'll keep you up to date, Bruce, if we gotta add an
Yeah,
agenda item on there.
we'll have to put an agenda item in
Yeah.
there for that, so.
Yep.
Easy enough to do.
Sounds good.
Emails, have been pretty quiet on my end.
I got nothing.
Good.
Did get a couple of, the citizens who were present did follow up with me, generally very complimentary. There were a few more pointed questions that came out, but same things that we just said at the meeting, just had to repeat them. Yes, call times are really going down. Yes, we are getting good service. Yes, it doesn't cost any more than it used to. We've kept our budget flat. So,
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's just one of those things that I think, in the heat of the moment, it doesn't always register, so people wanna come back and ask.
there's also, the costing, there was some misinformation there too. I mean,
Yeah.
It suddenly went up from, $50 a year to $500, no, it's never been $50.
That was actually, yeah, and I did it, and I got cornered literally on that. I said, I've lived here for a long time and I don't ever recall it being $50 a year.
Right.
No, I mean, it's going down now, our rate is going down because we are not levying more, but the valuation of the district is going up, and so our rate is going down.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that, the word is getting out, it just takes a little while.
And it just needs to be reinforced every once in a while.
Yeah.
And those things that, the only time people really, and this is a good news story, the only time people pay attention to the Fire Protection District and to the fire services that support us is when something bad happens and they have to rely on those services. If things are going swimmingly and everything works well, they forget about it. So, which is as it should be. So, yeah, sometimes you just have to remind them.
Yep. All right. Anything else? Nothing else? Okay, with there being nothing else, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to adjourn our meeting at 6:31 PM.
I'll second that.
All right, and all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Meeting adjourned.